I'd like to thank today's sponsor. It is the upcoming cinematic novel, David Paul Powers and the Quest for the Child Crystals. It is a cinematic novel, and it reads like a novel, but it's got the heart of a screenplay. It's got a fun, easy-to-read style with healthy portions of camp and pulp mixed in. It's meant to be enjoyed by the 11-year-old in all of us across generations. It's definitely something that my daughter would love, and I'll tell you why. The author, Jason Schreiber, took Star Wars, Back to the Future, Superman the movie, Goonies, Indiana Jones, Dark Crystal, MCU, DCU, the list goes on and on and on, hence why I'm talking about it. And he threw them all in the proverbial writing blender, added a ton of flavor, and came up with the next great epic series. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a very original story, but all of these stories are baked in, things that you know, things that we love. And if you love those, you're going to love this. It's the first book in a trilogy. Because why not? Trilogies work, man. Get it on Amazon right now at a special pre-order price today for an early November release. You go to the Amazon link that is in the description, or you can go to davidpaulpowers.com, where, by the way, you can get a free Art of ebook, which itself weighs in at 230 pages and over 1,000 illustrations, all by the author himself. David Paul Powers and the Quest for the Child Crystals, episode the first. The adventure begins. It is the next big thing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Thursday. It's the big thing. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Is the SAG strike almost over? Is it? No, they're going to renegotiate once again. Rebel Moon, Snyder's movie. It's PG-13. I thought it was going to be rated R. It's PG-13. Yeah, again, really getting into that SAG news. What's the deal? How's it going to work? Total Recall, they're going to do another one. That makes sense. Dune Part 2, also PG-13, and a few other things. A lot of questions from you guys today. Going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because next week's going to be a shorter episode also, but we're doing some Q&A stuff that you guys sent in with Brett and myself for the Thursday episodes. But that's about what I got for you today. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good one. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. If you're able to, hit that button. We're almost there, man. 100,000, trying to get there. Are we going to do a party for it? I don't know what we're going to do. I have no idea. But we're not even close yet, so we haven't thought about it. Well, I guess we're close, but not close enough to talk about having a party. I'm tired. So there you go. I summed all that up and more. All right, Brett, Sheridan, and me, and then the rest of it. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Big thing. Thursday. It's me, Brett, us. It's goofball style. You in a mood? Good
Camera
mood?
A, camera B, camera A, camera B, camera A, camera B.
It's true.
I mean, too soon for a party.
Too soon for a party? You don't think so? I'm tired. That's right. I just right before we started. You want to talk about The Exorcist? The reviews are in front. I don't even know what the reviews were. I know what my review was, but I showed Brett beforehand. It's always a bummer. As I said this, it's just how, you just can't. You don't know how the freaking algorithm is going to work. Normally, the out of the theater reactions do fine. The Paw Patrol ate a pile of dirt. People are like, why'd you take it off? Because it didn't even hit 1,000.
Really?
It didn't even hit 1,000, and it was going to crush the algorithm. I was like, no thanks. I took it off. This one did I did this review, this out of the theater reaction, and this music was chasing me around the entire mall.
So good.
You can check it out. It's on there. And the second the reaction started, this music was playing. I tried to hide in a corner, and it was booming in this corner. So I was like, okay, I'll just do the walk and talk, Aaron Sorkin style, and go down the mall, and maybe I can avoid it. It chased me like the demon in The Exorcist. It was chasing me. But I was like, oh, okay, that was a funny review. I showed it to somebody, and I showed it to Frank Janet. She's like, oh man, that's gonna do well. It did like 7,000 views, and I was like, it's just bummer because people. I guess people don't. I don't know whether they don't give a shit about the movie, whether they don't give a shit about my takes on horror. I have no idea. But I was like, that out of the theater reaction was pretty right to the point. I thought.
Yeah. No, it's so good, and the music made it funny too.
The music was better than me. In it, that's the only reason you should watch that reaction is because of the music.
Music chases man out of mall is what you should change it to.
It should be the headline on CBS News. But let's just jump into it. Let's talk about The Exorcist. Now, I have not seen what the reviews are, and I'm going to tell you whether or not I agree or disagree by the end of this article. This is from our boy G-Man over at The Exorcist, over at Dark Horizons. Blumhouse is betting big on The Exorcist Believer, the first of a planned new trilogy. Oh, come on. Of films based on the new franchise. Box office, it's going to be a hit. Of course it will. With an opening weekend domestic haul around 30 to 40. However, critically, the film is bombing, which actually isn't uncommon for this franchise. Reviews released this morning, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the film has 24% accurate. 79 reviews so far. Funnily enough, that puts it in the mid-range of the franchise to date. Second film had 9%. I couldn't even tell you. I thought there were 2. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of other ones. Anyway, Paul Schrader's Dominion prequel to The Exorcist is 30%. Exorcist 3 is 58%. Did you know that they had more than 2 of these?
No.
Here are some of the reviews. As a perfectly serviceable horror movie, it at least gets the Exorcist franchise back into respectable territory, but there's a potential for something much better. Okay, I don't disagree. If The Exorcist Believer is all about devotion to spiritual faith, its failure to live up to the power of the first film, which makes zealots of even the most cynical moviegoers, borders on sacrilege. Okay, don't disagree. Not ambitious enough to be interesting, nor is it powerful enough to get under the skin. It evades serious discussions of faith and under the underlying depth of the series as a basis for a little more than fan service and generic plot. Bibbs. Agreed, Bibbs. I agree with Bibbs. The Exorcist Believer trots out Ellen Burstyn for continuity, credibility, and then treats her with stunning disrespect. Agreed. The most brazen of many indications that the film is a soulless cash-in on an established name brand. I agree with that one the most. Until someone is able to come up with a new way to depict possession or the battle, who gives a crap? They all think it stinks. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's like it is, as I said in my reaction, it's like it didn't have to be an Exorcist movie. They did what they for like Halloween. I understand. You have Michael Myers, and you're going into the lore of Michael Myers, whatever you think about it. This movie was an Exorcist movie, and they're like, well, we want to be able to get people in the theater and relate it to The Exorcist, so we'll get Bernstein back. And dude, it's that one review was so right. Like they have her in it, and then it's just like the way that they use her is so piss poor, and it's predictable. The ending is so stupid. It's gonna do well, and it's gonna do more of these. But like it's just not. It's not good. The acting was fine, but I don't know. I thought you like horror movies.
I do. I just don't get to watch them with my wife. But I'm with you before I even see this. That like, well, if it's just somebody being excised, a young girl, it's two girls now.
You literally. So did you see the trailer?
No.
You could watch the trailer, and you will have seen the movie.
Yeah.
It's beat by beat.
And I don't think that seems spooky anymore for some reason. I don't know if it's because of debunking of a lot of these things. I don't know.
Well, there's something about it. It's just like I said. It just comes. It's not. We've seen it a million times, right? We've seen it, and it really could have just been any Exorcist movie. But they at one point in the movie, I'm like, what does this have to do with the original? And then right as I thought that, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, there's part one, and then they involved, the mom, and like, okay, well, they're connecting it. But in the same breath, I was like, but why?
Yeah.
Except because now they can put it in the title of the movie, and they can make 30, 40 million opening weekend, and they will, and they'll make money on it because it's a good time to release it. This is what Blumhouse does masterfully. They can make a movie that didn't cost that much to make. They get the IP to these things. They put it out at the right time in Halloween season, and then they make hand over fist with these movies because it's people go, well, I want to get scared. I want to go see it. There's the scariest part about this movie is when it gets loud and it gets gross.
Yeah.
It's never like really. I never like when I saw what was it, Paranormal Activity. I think like 3. Have you seen those movies? There's one that they do, and there's like this fan scene, like an actual fan, and it's creepy as hell. I remember getting out of my car after seeing the screening and like being in a garage and get me out of here. And I just like took off. Like that was the most, like the last time I was really like scared after seeing a movie. This was just like you said, I've seen this a million times. It's creepy kids, rotten faces.
And was it like lots of puking?
Yes. Puking.
That's the gross part?
Yeah, puking.
We already did the projectile vomiting.
Let me show you what I just did. I tried to switch it to you so I could wipe my nose on my shirt, and I go,
Perfect.
Perfect. It's got no tissues around, so I don't know what's gonna make the cut. It probably will.
Place got no tissue.
Got no tissues. Hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you something. I got a tissue, so I'm gonna see if you want me to give you a wipe.
You go to Harloff's place and you ain't got no tissues. Throws you some old toilet paper.
No, so I heard about Harloff's place. They don't have tissues over there. So I tell you what, it's like a black market in my van. But I'm not gonna ask you to come in the van because that'd be creepy. Instead, I'm gonna give you some used tissues. Give you some brand new ones that'll cost you a little extra.
I wipe my nose on his jersey, on his football jersey.
It's my favorite story ever.
Okay.
Hey, listen, Kristian, I had to go to the bathroom, and I went over to Murph's house. It was like 95 degrees. So I'm like banging on the door. I gotta take a shit. So I'm like slamming on the door, hoping his dad's there to let me in. Nobody's there, so I go in the back, the shed. I'm looking around, and you gotta remember, I'm living in New York, but I'm a Cowboys fan, so I see the Giants helmet, so I shit in the Giants helmet, and I buried it in the backyard. Took off. I still don't know if they found it. That's a true story.
What they did?
What did they found out like yesterday?
Oh,
after like 20 years.
Oh,
that is a true story.
True story.
True story.
Make a movie out of that instead of this Exorcist.
You probably. I mean, I'm telling you, this movie's gonna do well though.
And then the hat, the helmet's haunted.
The helmet, yeah, by the shit.
It's floating, shit dripping.
Yeah, what if he came back as a piece of shit?
Oh man.
Yeah. In a multiverse where shit was alive. I know.
I feel like I'm a piece of shit now.
I mean, what do you venture on when it comes to YouTube? Like, everybody goes down a rabbit hole of certain things. What do you do? The ASMBR QST things, those quiet.
Oh,
yeah. Do you do that stuff?
No.
What do you do?
My rabbit holes are like DIY things that I'll never do.
Okay, such as
just like, hey, here's a perfect way to do this project around the house, and like, I'm trying to think of things like hanging stuff, but
you would do stuff like that.
I do stuff like that, but I don't. There's a lot of like things that I don't even have a garage and I couldn't do.
Do you bookmark it?
Oh yeah, I put them in my Pinterest.
Okay.
I save them so that I could never go back and look at them again.
But
Recipes, DIY,
right,
cool ideas, things I want to buy, stuff like that. I just recently, I'll save like products I want to get. I want to get a Dr. Teeth, and the Mayhem. That's the band from Muppets. I saw a T-shirt of that. I'm like, oh yeah, Dr. Teeth.
One of these days I'll get those.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this. When I get a garage someday, I'm gonna build a bench out of pallets. No.
See, I don't do that. I go down the time traveler road, meaning like these reports of people who said they're actual time travelers.
Oh yeah.
There's one I saw some video recently. It was from last year, and the guy passed a lie detector test and said that he was from like 2040, and they're asking him questions, and he's like, my favorite question that they asked him was like, they said, "Do you promise that you're from the future?" He said, "I promise I'm from the future." And then it said, "Pass," like he passed. So
promise.
Yeah, I promise I'm from the future. But like those silly stories, I'd like to get into those and read those and see. I never. And one of these days, I want to like see one of them and go, "Oh man, I believe that guy."
Yeah.
I just never leave. I never leave going, "I believe that guy." And I'd like to. You ever see those old videos where the old lady's on the phone in the old Charlie Chaplin movie? She's on a cell phone.
Oh yeah, they like show you like people that are dressed a certain way, like certain kind of shades that weren't invented yet.
Yeah, there was like some guy, the one you're talking about. There's some guy who's got like the sunglasses on. It looks like he's in from like the 80s.
And that was like the JFK assassination.
No, it was earlier than that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's hard to tell if somebody's from the future because they're talking about stuff you don't know, so you kind of have to either believe them or not.
Or just got a good imagination, or sign them up to like a deal now that the strike's over.
But I mean, like if you're like, yeah, I'm from the future, and gas is $12. Oh yeah, that's believable.
It's right. Well, they asked, they're like, so what about robots? Oh, robots are
robots are
big thing there. He said we can put our consciousness in robots in 2040, and it's like.
Maybe.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, that's crazy talk. It's like, who knows?
He's like, I got this robot kid. I got sick of it. I threw it in the ocean.
Shit. You're allowed to do that? No,
Yeah,
but they don't
no.
really care as much.
They don't care.
What about helmets?
He stared at it. His whole life is just staring at
Yeah.
a statue. So
it.
what's that, AI?
Yeah. Do they give you a little discount on helmets in the
Yeah,
future?
you get helmets?
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, the earth is filthy. Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
right,
gas is astronomical.
People are fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about tomorrow?
Yeah.
2040.
All
like-
foods are in pill form, and it's you don't want to be there. That's why I came back.
That's how I came out. Yeah. Why did you come back?
Yeah.
And he said the fashion is all people in black and white. That's what the fashion is in 2040. So maybe the joke's on us. Maybe he's right, but I think he's full of shit. I think everybody's full of shit.
Take that, guy
That's right.
from the future.
That's right, guy from the future. Do you know I was going to say that about you?
Yeah.
How about now? I'll tell you that.
What? That's you're in a fight with somebody born. Yeah, whatever, guy from the future. Just like
He's not even the guy that says it.
yeah.
I know you. You're from the future.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm from Elm Street or Oak Street.
I always heard that creating confusion is a good thing when if you're kidnapped or if you're in a fight or something. Whatever, guy from the future. He'd be just like,
What do you mean?
they'd
Guy from
be
the
ready to
future?
hit you, and they're like, "What are you talking about, guy from the future? I know you."
I had that with when I first started dating my wife. We had a crazy homeless guy come up to us, and he was kind of growling at her, and I was kind of stepped in front. He said something, and I don't know what I said exactly, but it was along the lines of something like, "Oh yeah, you like cream cheese at 3:00 in the afternoon? Well, sometimes bats will fly backwards and they jump around on the left side." And he's just like, he was just like, "This left side." Whatever I said, he repeated it, and he went and walked away.
Yeah, this guy's
I don't know-
crazy. I
I
better
don't know
get
how
out of here.
it wasn't like I was crazy. It was as if I was making sense.
Yeah.
And it was nonsense. And he just kind of smiled and walked away. It happened once, never happened again. I probably would never do that again because next time they'd probably eat you. Did I ever tell you that story?
When you
About the
got
one-
eaten by a
yeah, I got eaten by a homeless guy.
unhoused person.
Yeah. You're not allowed to say homeless guy anymore?
I think it's unhoused or
Is that true? Did
Yeah.
they change it now?
They're changing them up. They change them every day.
All right. Well, then I'll make sure not to say that. So this
But
homeless guy.
the thing is, so this homeless guy, I don't know. That almost softens it to make it seem, I don't know, unhoused. I don't know what they're going for there because I think, I think it's a problem and we need to help. And I think if if we start calling them unhoused, then people don't think it's that bad anymore.
It's just the one time that I saw, this is it's like because people don't realize this shit that you go through when you're living on the streets and mentally, and whether it's because whatever has happened, whether you got yourself into drugs or whether it's you're just on the streets, it's like that's gonna take a toll on you, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I was in Subway, and it was right out of, I must have been out of college for a couple of years, and then my buddy had his girlfriend staying with him, and she had her friend from Florida, about as privileged, blonde Florida girl you're ever gonna meet, ever. Now, I didn't like this person, but we go into Subway, and we're going because they were trying to set me up with her or something too, and I'm just like,
Nope.
But I'll never forget this because it was about two sides of the world, or two sides of what I just described.
Yeah.
The girl from Florida and the guy who's been living on the street. And this dude comes in, and he's the first one actually comes in. He's actually in there first. And he's at this guy's got to be 11 at night, almost 12, maybe later. So here's this guy, and he's clearly this is one of the warriors.
Yeah, yeah.
He's been in it. So he's at it, and he's going. He's just in his eyes locked in on his sandwich, and he's just looking, and he's going cucumbers, meat, turkey, whatever he's saying. He's throwing it, and it was like, and he goes mayonnaise, put mayonnaise on there, and the guy's like, and the worker
Yeah.
is just doing what he's been asked to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And he goes, mayonnaise, more mayonnaise. And this guy must put half the bottle of mayonnaise on there, right? So this girl looks over to the guy and goes, "That's not good for you." And he goes, "Huh?" and turns his head, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, this guy probably ate a sneaker 5 minutes ago. You think he cares about more mayonnaise is what it's keeping him going. And you're talking like she's lucky. She is lucky he didn't pop her head off of her body and put that on the sandwich too. And he just looked back. He went back, and then she knew she almost fucked up.
Yeah.
So then the guy puts all the mayonnaise on the sandwich. He takes off. He walks out, and we're just like,
"What is wrong?
What
with you?
are you doing?" Clearly, someone who had no idea the city life that she had just walked in on. But yeah, we saw that, and now, but I went up giving that guy because I thought it was one of the funny. I remember giving him sneakers because we never knew his name, but we call him mayonnaise. And we were like, "Oh, there's mayonnaise there," and I was like, "Yeah, it looks like." Because I remember mayonnaise was in the alley, and his feet were looking all busted up, and I had like 4 extra pair like these sneakers that I need anymore. So I think that they fit him because I saw him wearing them.
Yeah.
But I gave mayonnaise because I'll always remember going, "Oh yeah, that was the guy that almost ate my friend's girlfriend's friend." But anyway. That's the story. I'm sticking to it.
That's the story of mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. I hope mayonnaise is all right. I hope
Yeah.
mayonnaise.
Hey guys.
You get these stories where you remember that guy with the golden voice? Remember that guy, the guy who was on the streets for a bit, and they stopped him, and he used to be on the radio for a long time, and he had kind of fallen on hard times, and then this guy pulled up and goes, to do the radio thing. And he's like, "Oh, and does the whole thing. And then they found him and the video went viral and he got jobs from it.
That's good.
Yeah. And he fell on hard times again afterwards, but I think he's not on the streets and he's back. But it's I love those kind of turnaround stories that do that. I'm so on the fence with some of the viral TikTok and Instagram things though too. You see a lot of them where people are going, they're helping these people.
Yeah.
And in theory, the majority of it, I think it's a great thing. But there's also the spoof ones that you see that they go, "Oh, can you shoot that again? Can you make it look a little bit a little more happy that I gave you the $3?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, thanks." And he takes the $3 and walks away. But no, there's a lot of people who are actually doing really good things for people out there, and that if they're doing it for the pure really want to do it to help people out, it's a great thing. If they're doing it because they want you to click on the video, is their heart really? I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's tough. I go through the same thing where I wonder, okay, maybe you just don't film it, but then again, the filming of it is what gives them the money to do these things. So yeah,
I know it's. I'm more on the side of I think it's a good thing. It's just I guess it's the skeptic in all of us.
Yeah,
it just goes, what's this person's angle? And the real angle is to get people to watch the video, which I get. And if they're doing it, and then the next video is them, if they're able to make a living by helping people out, then I don't see why I have a problem with it at all. I really don't. Even if it's okay, well, you know what? If we went out, we spent this amount of money and gave this person this, that's part of our budget, and we'll get a ton of money. It's yeah, what am I getting? What I guess that it's ultimately it is helping that person out. It really is.
It's.
Yeah,
I've seen funny ones where they film and the bit as I'm going to ruin, but she films whatever she does in reverse, and it looks like she's giving a sandwich to a homeless guy, but it's it's just I can't remember how the setup or whatever, but somehow she does something that he's being nice to her, but she's like, "I gave this homeless guy a thing," and it was just some guy that gave her a sandwich. I can't remember. I'm ruining it. You should never try to tell a story of something you saw.
It's fine. Sometimes you do a good job.
No, I never do.
Yeah. Well, listen. It's a bad habit that you have, but there are ways to combat bad habits.
How?
With good habits, Brett. And let me tell you a little bit about Fume.
All right, guys. This episode is sponsored by Fume. Bad habits, man. A lot of people have bad habits, and bad habits can really kick your ass, and they can mess with your health. They really can set you back. I've seen it, been around it, and I know. And when you see this, the first thing you go, well, what is that? The first thing you should know is that's not a vape pen. It's not electronic. It's natural. That's why I'm on board in the first place. What is it then? It's a device. and it helps you quit nasty habits. And that's why I was on board right away when they reached out. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was skeptical. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know, that's not really my thing. It's like, wait a minute. You're not breathing in nasty chemicals with this. And what it is, it's it's just fresh air. It's natural air. It is flavored air. That's it. You heard me. Air. And it flavors it. It is a great way to replace nasty habits. There is no nasty chemicals, none of the stuff that creates bad habits. And that to me was like, oh, wait a minute. So you can actually turn a bad habit and you just make it a good habit because it ain't messing you up and it ain't hurting you. Because I said, wait a minute, flavored air? And I said, it just feels fresh. They sent me one of them. And I said, okay, great, cool. It's pretty well weighted. It's perfectly balanced and it's very easy to fidget with. Stopping is something that everybody puts off because it is hard. But if you switch to Fume, it is easy and it's enjoyable and it's fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has had thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use that code BIGTHING. You can get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfume.com. Use that code BIGTHING to save an additional 10% off your order today.
All right, thank you to our friends over at Fume. Once again, if you're able to and you need to, you want to look at a bad habit and go, no more bad habit, good habit. Check out Fume, and it'll help you out and it helps the show out. All right, let's move on here. I want to get to your questions in a second, but before we do that, I do want to go and let's see what's going on. Oh, SAG. So what they said, Brett, was that they hit the table, right? And I guess Monday and Tuesday they were at the table, I think maybe even yesterday. And then they're not going back to the table today. They're going back tomorrow. And then they will go into the weekend. And then even carrying on to Monday is what the Post said. So they're planning, it looks like SAG's planning to go in on up until Monday. So I thought it would be over by Friday, and I don't think so anymore. I think that maybe we're going to push into next week. But I still think that this thing, I think people are back to work by November 1st. Are you feeling optimistic
so.
still? Yeah?
Yeah, I think things are falling into place, and I'll be back to shooting feature films in no time.
We're waiting for it because you're meeting with
Get a meeting
Score Spielberg next week.
Score Spielberg and famous movie Productions Inc.
Yeah.
And I mean I've got a couple self tapes for some big stuff. But it's some of them are just offers that I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to take or not. Yeah,
right.
A lot of my work is just offer only these days.
Right. You offer and then they say no.
Yeah, they're like, no, who are you? And I'm like, and then
that's usually the audition. It's just you giggling. Like
I'm like, and they're like, please get out of our office. It's weird stuff. Some people are funny that way.
It's not. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, it's right.
I want to talk about that movie you watched on Amazon last night that you texted me about, Cans.
Yeah, well, it's basically a documentary, a spoof about the Cannes Film Festival, and they started one in Sandusky, Ohio, called Cans.
And
yeah,
you have to bring like colored cans.
Well, the whole thing is something to help the unhoused. They bring it's a canned food drive / film festival, but like instead of an entry of you paying for your tickets and things, you just bring a whole bucket of cans and or bags and things, and then they give it all to the unhoused.
That's what I was talking about, and that's what I like. That's the whole reason we got into this today. But on the side of this whole thing, there's like a side story about the what is it? The guy who like hunts elk but doesn't kill them. He just puts them in his garage.
Yeah, it's like when people fish, like they catch and release, but he hunts the elk and he basically uses tranquilizer guns. Right. And still mounts them on the wall, but they wake up and he feeds them. Right. I don't know if it's very humane. They're kind of strapped to the wall.
But he was trying to teach a few of them to speak German.
Yeah. Well, that's where it gets a little kooky because we all know that animals don't speak German. They speak English. So that's the controversy of it.
Is this animated?
No, this is live action.
Oh, okay.
Except for the animals are animated, but the people are live action.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
good.
so
It's
check
good.
that out. Cans on Amazon.
Eddie.
Yeah, Cans on Amazon. Perfect. You got through that one without laughing.
Yeah.
Good job.
I was waiting for a squirrel to get involved. Well, elk.
I just got to throw a few of them in there. So yeah, SAG should be over soon.
Should be over soon. They're hitting the tables. They're hitting the tables today. The tables tomorrow.
It's gonna be. I lost everything I got
Yeah. On the tables.
on the tables. All right, next one. Rebel Moon, baby. We've talked about that on this show before. Zack Snyder returns to screens in December with the Netflix original sci-fi space opera feature, Rebel Moon, the first of a two-part film being dubbed as Snyder's Star Wars. In March, sound recording mixer Andy Koyama realized that his balls stink.
Yep. Leave it in. It's actually in the article. That's weird. Is that that's
I didn't misread anything.
realized?
Poor fuck. I'm leaving it.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it. But I'm going to pretend like I cut it out, like how I do normally. In March, sound recording mixer Andy Koyama revealed that Snyder was working on R-rated extended cuts for both parts of the movie alongside PG-13 regular cuts, which could go theatrical as well as to streaming. Now the MPA has handed out the official age rating for the first part. Part 1, A Child of Fire, got a PG-13 rating as expected, but the description of why it got that rating suggests it'll be one of the most boundary-pushing PG-13s made thus far. People will be showing their assholes, said Hollywood Reporter. The official rating says it earned it for sequences of strong violence, sexual assault, bloody image, language, sexual material, and partial nudity. Interesting. Well, I could see that. I mean, you look at like what he did with Watchmen. Watchmen, I think was rated R, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was rated R from the get, but I guess because Stinky Balls was talking about having R rated or for the regular cut, I guess that makes sense. But I think we're going to get to a place when we see this movie and you're going to go, oh yeah, you can see where they're kind of pushing the limits. I don't think that just because it's PG-13, it's going to like soften it and make it seem less adult.
No, they're really throwing it to 13-year-olds now.
Right.
He's 13. He can see sexual assault.
Right. Or so we got to watch it with me.
She's all right.
Yeah. Or he.
Hey.
He's all right. So I think the I'm pretty excited for this movie. Now, it did say in this, I thought it was just going to Netflix. I guess Netflix is going to put it in a couple of theaters.
Yeah, there's so many different cuts. They have different cuts for every theater. Snyder's all about different cuts.
Different cuts. True. I don't know. I'm pretty pumped for this one though, man.
It was a great. I enjoy. I think you played it for me
Trailer,
right on the show. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, I don't think it sounds like they're going PG-13, but it's not. It's not a soft 13.
Right, which is fine. And that movie comes out in December. It's another one to look forward to. There's some big movies coming out in December. That one we'll be covering for sure. And then, speaking of other things I think that Brett and I pretty soon, either next week or the following, wanted to try to, we still haven't seen Elemental. So Brett and I talked about doing like an actual, similar to what we did with the Rob Zombie movie, doing like a watch along. And what I would probably do is put the full reaction, the whole thing on like Patreon, but do the actual cut through the way that I do like One Piece and those other things on the channel. So that'll be coming soon. So you can check this out. Brett's a viral star when it comes to Elemental.
Oh, man.
You still get notifications
daily. Daily. It's not as much. It used to fill it up, but now at least once a day. I get one person liking that viral video where I was.
You say nothing.
It's pretty awesome. You haven't seen Elemental, you're saying, or you?
I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah,
No.
I heard it's actually pretty pretty
Yeah,
emotional.
I heard so too. So if you cry, that's up to you. Speaking of PG-13, Dune Part 2 also scores a PG-13 rating. Have you seen this yet, the first one?
No,
Dude, come on, man.
gotta do it.
You got it. Warner Brothers Pictures and Legendary's highly anticipated sequel, Dune Part 2, has officially been given a PG-13 rating by the MPA. I thought it was the MPAA, but I guess it's the MPA. The rating covers sequences of strong violence, some suggestive material, and brief, strong language. He says, "Fuck." The Denis Villeneuve-directed film is effectively finished and was slated for November 3rd. The actor strikes, however, has pushed that debut back, with the movie now scheduled to arrive on March 15th. The adaptation of the novel will explore the mythic journey of Paul Atreides as he unites with Chani and the Fremen while on a warpath of revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the known universe, he endeavors to prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. Timothy Chalamet and the rest of the crew return. All right. Yeah, same thing. It's like, this one to me makes more sense. The first one was PG-13, and you're also trying to get as many people in the theater as possible. Even though it's supposed to come out in November and the strike will be over in November, I was thinking as I was reading that, do you think this is a good move for them that they pushed it, or should they have just stuck with the November release date? Or by the time they pushed it, they hadn't gone to the tables yet. So what do you think?
I honestly don't know. I mean, because if it's in the can, right? I mean, you're not actively.
You just wouldn't have had Zendaya and Chalamet
To promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, the promotion is a big thing. I think, pushing is probably a better.
I think so too, even though, because like I said, let's say hypothetically they were like, when they made the choice, they probably didn't know when the negotiations were going to start. But let's say even they're like, this thing should be over by November. It's like, yeah, but why don't we give it, we need like a month back time to really promote this thing. So let's just push it to March. I think it's the right play also, to be completely honest. What do you guys think? Do you think that Dune 2, and take the disappointment out of it, because to me it was the movie I was looking forward to the most. Especially it would have been my number 2. I had to remember to put it on the list last year. I anticipated, especially Indiana Jones was my number 1, and that didn't work out the way that I hoped it would. I didn't mind it, but it certainly wasn't. I don't even know if it definitely won't crack my top 10 this year. Anyway, so what do you think? Take the disappointment out of it. Do you think it's a right move to push it into March? Let me know what you think. Okay, so I want to get to some questions. And before we even do that, I wanted to also let you guys know about a few of our sponsors here today. And I'm excited to talk to them about it because Marine Layer, if you don't know, I've been talking about Marine Layer. I'm a big T-shirt guy, Brett. I wear the T-shirts all the time. They sent a lot of have you heard of Marine Layer yet?
No, not yet.
So obviously when we get potential sponsors, I approve or say no thanks because I don't think the audience is gonna like it. I don't think I'm gonna like it. But they sent me shirts and they sent me these really soft like gray pants. They sent me like these soft T-shirts and like I like the little. Sometimes I like my shirts sometimes with logos and stuff. I wear the logo shirts too, but I also like those kind of soft kind of shirts where I just feel like I can wear them anywhere. It doesn't feel like a T-shirt. And I have like this. And I never thought I could do the draw pants, those things. And I was like, well, let me try those. And they're comfortable as hell. They're so soft. I needed new style. And I spent a lot of time on the website, and I was getting a lot of good stuff there. And there's a lot to choose from, and it's really, really comfortable. So it doesn't matter what the style is. It's really soft. I couldn't believe how much, and you could throw it in the washer and the dryer 1,000 times over, and it still comes out really, really soft. So go ahead and check it out. And whether you're going on like a date night, whether you're going to the office, they have stuff for every occasion. It's great. And if you want 15% off, then all you got to do is you got to use that code BigThing15, and you'll get 15% off. You got to go to marinelayer.com and use that code BigThing15, and you save your closet, man, one shirt at a time. It's great. And also got to tell you about AG1. You're still taking the AG1.
Oh yeah, every day.
And I mean, we've been with them now. I mean, it's got to be over a year and a half.
Yeah.
And AG1 is no joke. I love them because I wake up, man. I have it takes a second for me to like really start to kick in a routine, but I've been in my routine for a bit, and I put it in a cup of water, and I have that Zoo cup that I talk about all the time, and I mix it in there,
And that's it. That's my day. And it doesn't matter. You can have coffee afterwards. You're still a coffee person. I don't need 2 cups of coffee anymore. I take my AG1 in the morning and I do it, and it helps my gut health, helps my immune system. It gives me that boost of energy, and it really helps my sleep. Does it help your sleep?
Oh yeah,
It does, right?
No, I mean just in a routine of something that will help your sleep is great. I mean, like, and the consistency of doing it, having the vitamins and the energy during the day, and
That's the main thing. I don't like, because my father-in-law is a big vitamins guy, right? And he was always like, you got to take all these, take 27 vitamins. And God bless him. He's got the discipline to do it. I can't do all the vitamins. I like, wait a minute. I can take all those vitamins with one, and I throw it in a cup, and that's it. And I always feel better afterwards. I always feel better. I feel like I do have that little, that pep in my step. You got a pep. I got a pep in your step. Right in your step. So I don't know why you'd want to take 3,000 different vitamins when you can only do it just one. Throw it in the cup. Throw it in a water bottle. I love it. I love the single serve ones too. I'm going away soon. When you go on, like, because you've been traveling a lot.
Oh yeah, we take the packets with us. Yeah.
It's great. So if you're going on vacation, if you're going on a work trip, whatever it is, take the travel pack. It's great. I don't miss a day. You shouldn't either. And if you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1. You get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Got to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. Every single week, I get people telling me that they tried it out, and they said, like, because I always tell people, I'm like, look, you help out the show when you do a sponsor, and they look, and a lot of times they go, I got to try this AG1. They've been talking about it, and I get it all the time. Hey, I tried it. I've been doing it. I love AG1. So drinkag1.com/bigthing. All right. Switching over, my man. Let's get to some of these questions that the peeps were asking, because I got some good ones, buddy.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. This is specifically for Brett, and this comes from MJIO2DT. The UFO content is pretty cool. Are there any other topics you would consider branching into? I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff that I'm interested in. Like I told you, I'd be interested in, like, the time travel stuff, and I'd be interested in, like, I'll tell you what was fascinating when we talked about it I think we've talked about it a couple times, is that the simulation theory and
that's interesting to me.
Like, that type of stuff, like, but I just don't know, and I could be wrong, like, how I felt the same way about the UFO stuff when Riley and I started talking about it. We're like, well, let's do it. We'll do it like once a month. And then we won't have stuff to talk about weekly, and we always do. There's always stuff to talk about. So I guess there's always stuff to talk about. It's just the question is, as we were talking about before, with when people were doing those videos to help the unhoused people, is it content also that you can do as part of your business? So it's like,
well, people keep coming back for more of that.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to switch some things up too. What I don't want to do, though, because like I didn't have a show on Tuesdays. Like, it was, big thing was always Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so some people were like, oh, stick to movies. I mean, I never stopped talking about movies and TV. I just added something on Tuesday in a spot that was vacant, like the Speaker of the House. You've been following all that? Have you been following all that?
No.
They ousted the Speaker of the House.
Who? Who's the Speaker of the House? Who? Whose house?
Definitely not going to talk about politics on this.
Whose house?
Whose house? Your
Who's
house.
Who's speaking in my house?
Who's speaking in the house, and why aren't they there anymore?
Who was the speaker?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Was that Mitch O'Connell?
No. Don't just stop.
What's Mitch O'Connell? Is it a Mitch O'Connell?
No, he's a Republican.
Mitch McConnell.
What? No,
who's that turtle guy?
Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker of the House.
Oh yeah.
He's no longer the Speaker of the House.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who? So we won't be talking about politics.
No,
on the
I
show
don't
at
follow
all.
that shit. I like to have my days be pleasurable.
You're probably not wrong. So I don't know. I mean, the answer to your question, I was consider it. Like, maybe inside of this, that's probably a great question. What type of topics, if you saw on this channel that I was talking about something with somebody, what would you be interested in? Like, what kind of stuff would you want to hear? I mean, outside of the realm of TV and movies, and that ain't changing, but I'm just saying, if there was something else, what would you want to talk about? Some people write wrestling and stuff too. I don't follow wrestling enough to be able to talk about it anymore. I mean, I follow like little things. I'll watch clips. I just saw that Adam Copeland, Edge, is going back to just came back to AEW. I like to follow that kind of stuff, but not enough to cover it weekly.
And I want it to be a little bit more outside of just the pop culture realm, like if I was going to do something. So
Tuesday can be your like grab bag day, though.
no, but Tuesday's the UFO show. I'm not changing it.
Oh, you're keeping it every day,
yeah,
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Why wouldn't I? That show,
I don't know.
First of all,
why are you yelling at me?
first of all, that show is so much fun.
I bet.
Second of all, I really enjoy talking about it with Riley. And third, it does, out of all the shows from Monday through Friday, it does the best.
And fourth.
Did I say fifth?
No, I'm just.
Oh, okay.
I'm making you continue. You only went to 3. I need
did
4,
3.
5, and 6, or I'm not sold on it.
That's fine.
And
Fair.
fifth and
And
sixth.
sixth and
Okay,
12th.
great.
All right, so let's do another one. Malcav81. What's your favorite season so far of Disney Plus television? Star Wars, Marvel? When the actor strike ends, how quickly do you think Disney will pivot back to theaters, or will they continue to push movies and streaming for their blockbuster franchises? It's an excellent question. As far as what's my favorite season of Disney Plus television? I mean, Mandalorian season 2 is pretty damn good. Season 1 is pretty damn good. Andor's fantastic. WandaVision's really good. Loki season 1's pretty good. Oh man. And all of them you can only watch. I'd probably take Mandalorian season 2
Yeah.
out of those. But Andor's pretty damn good. So those are probably it. But the bigger thing is the second part of your question, to be honest with. And will Disney pivot back to theaters, or will they continue to push movies and streaming for blockbuster franchises? It depends on what happens in that room, because they're already going to owe a lot of money to the writers. And did you see already that Netflix is beefing up the price again? Because
of the strike?
I mean, think about it.
Oh, I knew these writers were going to screw us.
But not only the writers, the actors too, because they know that they're going to have to pay these residuals now,
Which is
and
so bullshit.
what? Not that they're getting it.
No, it's just that like they don't need to raise their fucking prices.
They do because they think
they have an excuse now.
Yeah, they have an excuse
Just
now.
like you know, oh, there's a war in Ukraine. Well, let's raise the gas prices.
I know. So as far as the second part of that question, where do I think that Disney's going to pivot back to theaters, or they can push movies or streaming? They're going to have to, as we were talking about, they're jacking up those prices. Like Netflix is jacking up the prices, and Disney's probably going to do the same. But there's rumors already, and I don't know how true it is or not, but like Mandalorian season 4 was already written. So the rumor was that they were going to turn that into a movie. And then let's say that if I'm Bob Iger, at that point, I'm going to say, okay, look, Favreau, come here. You got this thing done, right? You think you can condense that into a movie? Because you make some money off it. I think there is going to be a push to get back into the theaters more, because they're going to need to make more profit, but they're going to scale down, thankfully, on budget. You're not going to, the days of these $250, $300 million movies, I think that they're done.
Really?
I hope. I think every once in a while you'll get them, but like we're not in that spot anymore where people are just going to see everything.
Yeah.
So I do think that I think they're going to push back to the theater for a couple things also. Okay. I'm going to give this one to Brett.
All right.
Brett, what are your top 5 bands and why?
The Flirt and Flouse, number 1.
Okay.
Why? Greatest Showman on Earth.
True.
Tool is one of my favorite bands. Why? I've been following them since they came out. I think as far as heavy bands go, they're very like orchestrated, instrumental. They play with different tempos that I enjoy, and they're just good to rock out to. Group Love is one of my favorite bands because everybody in the family likes them, and it was a soundtrack to driving out to Palm Springs for our yearly thing, and it's just upbeat and fun, and everybody's laughing. I would say Nathaniel Rateliff is kind of a folky performer. It's Nathaniel Rateliff, and the Night Sweats is his band, but it's just his stuff by himself I usually like a little bit more. My daughter calls it daddy music because it's kind of down, and it's not depressing to me. It's uplifting in its depressiveness. What is that? 3? There's a certain 2. No, that's 3 or 4 if you count the Flirt and Flouse. This is always kind of a hard.
You guys because you don't have time to think about it.
Yeah,
right? I would put the Doors at number 1. How about that? I put the Doors at number 1.
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention any like older
Rolling
bands.
Stones, Doors, Rolling Stones. I'd put in there for sure.
Doors, if I'm going old
Tom
school,
Petty.
that's my favorite older band than if I was evening it out through different time frames and stuff. Yeah.
You know, my daughter, the youngest one, is really into 80s music.
80s is perfect if you just want to be smiling and happy.
It's
The 90s grunge thing was just an answer to the 80s that people were just so tired of being so happy.
That's exactly what it
And
was.
they were just like, oh, we want to be raging.
Here's the next one that I want to get into. And it's a Scorsese question. Vinny B0730. What are your guys' top 3 favorite Scorsese movies?
Ooh.
I'm going to go and I'm going to say The Wolf of Wall Street is really up there for me. Probably followed by Goodfellas. With The Departed maybe as number 3 or Casino. Those are probably, I mean, that's without even really thinking about it. Those are the ones that come to mind right away. That probably,
Those are good ones.
Those are good ones too. He's got so many good ones. So yeah, those are the ones that kind of pop up there. You
name some other Scorsese for the audience.
For the audience, all right, I'll bring. I mean, I'm gonna do the search here now, and I'm probably gonna wind up changing my tune. But let's see, Scorsese. He's got.
Hugo.
Would you put Hugo up there?
Hugo, number 1 of all time.
Yeah, I liked Hugo.
I never saw Hugo.
It's not bad.
I like The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, for me, Wolf of Wall Street is in the top 3. You've got, let's see, Silence was a good movie.
Aviator, I enjoyed.
Aviator's a good movie too. I don't know if I'm putting it in the top 3. Cape Fear, The Departed, Gangs in New York. These are only calling out ones that I think have a shot. Casino, Cape Fear, Color of Money, Goodfellas, Raging Bull. Shoot. Mean Streets. Taxi Driver.
The band's The Last Waltz. I started watching that on a flight. That's pretty good.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch. I guess the question is, out of for me, Wolf of Wall Street is the one I'm gonna watch the most. Then Goodfellas. Those are my. They could go back and forth with 1 and 2. Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas. Now the question is, what hits the 3 spot? It's either Casino or Raging Bull. Or Departed. I'm gonna say.
Casino.
Oh man, yeah, I'm probably gonna say. I just watched Departed recently. It's really, really good. But I'll probably go Casino. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's tough. But I'll go Casino. You?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, Raging Bull, I think is great, but it's also I don't know. I think we really put these older films on a higher pedestal, and I think when we go back and watch them, there's just been so much advancements and so many, people have gotten better at the craft, I believe, and I think for the most part, anytime I watch an older thing, it doesn't hit as well as it did.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to do the last one because this is for both of us. Hello, Kristian. I'm glad to know that you enjoyed the live-action One Piece. I was wondering if you considered maybe watching the portion of the original anime that the live-action adapts. To know differences and how faithful it is to the original series and basically what the original series was like, that would at least be 45 episodes. Just fair warning if you thought the live-action was weird. The anime is more so, but it's a good series to watch with your kids. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. And it has nothing to do with anime. I just, there's just certain things that my attention kind of goes away from.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate this. My daughter, my 12-year-old, almost 12, she loves anime. Like, loves it. I just can't. That's one of the reasons I was like, I don't know if this series is going to be for me because I thought it was just going to be too wacky. I can't. Like even the Last Airbender or Avatar. Yeah, Avatar, the Airbender, whatever. That one, people love that series, and I started watching it with my daughter who loved it, and I'm going, okay, it's good. I understand the story's really good, but I just found myself going like this, and it has nothing to do with it. It's just like I don't respond to anime. I just there's certain things I just don't respond to. I appreciate it, and I love the fandom that it has, and I think that it really spawns a lot of great ideas, and I'm sure that it's fantastic. I just can't get into anime.
I respect the craft. I respect
me too.
What they're doing, but I just doesn't hit with me either.
I wish it did.
Oh,
because I would love to be able, because I really love the world. And the other thing though too is another reason why there's certain things that I'll go, like Last of Us I was playing,
and I was getting into the game, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to spoil the story for myself a little bit. That's okay. I didn't mind. I don't want to spoil this story for me. I love how wacky this world is. I love the fact that you meet new characters like every episode. I don't want to know who they are. Like something happens at the end of season 1. Not spoiling anything. There's just a character that shows up.
Yeah.
And I said, I have no idea who that person is, but I'm sure that the hardcore audience does. And they did. And I was like, I like that. I like the idea that I don't know what the hell is happening. So, as nothing against the fact, I'm sure it's a brilliant show. I'm sure it's wonderful. And I'm sure I'd probably like some of it. I just don't want to go down that road.
Okay.
All right. Brad, I think that's it for today.
Thanks for asking.
Yes. I think what we will do, though, is we're going to do another Q&A episode for next week. Brett will be back for that. So thanks for joining us here today on the show. Make sure, if you haven't already done it, hit that button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Really would love that 100,000 by the end of the month if you're able to. And Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Brett, what's the channel that you're on these days?
Above Board TV on the YouTubes.
Make sure you check that out. Go over there, subscribe to it. Tell them that we sent you.
Yeah.
That helps. I think they're over, what, you guys are over 1,000 now? You can monetize now on that.
Yeah,
channel.
and they it's really cool that a lot of fans go over there, and because they're like, man, you got a lot of Brett fans on this channel.
Great.
I'm like, so I appreciate everybody commenting, keep it up, and make me look like a rock star.
Do it. Aboard TV.
Above Board.
That's what I meant. So go and check that out, Above Board TV. It's over on YouTube's. You can check it out, and you should do it right now. Well, after you sign off to this one. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.